who is
Jewish.
Yeah. Well, maybe did you even know what autism was in the late 80s?
I didn't know. Did I? I don't believe I did.
Meanwhile, he's getting cucked out by his wife, but we won't talk about that.
There's no more Yugoslavia, is there? No, there's no.
I've never been. I was driving here. Okay.
Yeah.
There was I think it's a Dodge Grand Caravan or something.
Yeah.
Like a minivan.
Okay.
And it had a sign that said like speed monitored.
Yeah.
So it was going 5 miles under the speed limit for like 90% of my drive here.
And it drove you nuts.
Dude, those people should be put to
death.
Yeah. Like boiled alive, skinned, seppuku'd, made to commit seppuku.
It's more of a speed suggestion.
What?
Like when
job is a Dodge Caravan monitored by the government? There might be one. I don't want to hear it.
Not necessarily.
Maybe that job shouldn't exist then.
Well, Doge is going to get them.
If you
could be working for a company, you might be transporting kids. You ever think of that?
In a van? That's creepy, by the way.
No, they're going to use a scooter.
Do you know who's likely to not be a PDF file? Someone who drives a Dodge Challenger.
Vans, not all vans are rape vans. Not all.
You just love using that word, huh?
Not all vans you have to be suspicious of. There's family vans with windows, right? You've seen them.
It's like, I guess I'm looking at the company.
You're just angry because, I tell you what, somebody goes 5 miles under, and I'm serious. And I'm not, I'm impatient.
If my vehicle was bigger than theirs, I would have literally steamrolled them.
Yeah.
I would have rear-ended them so violently that it would have been DOA. Like, you're just gone.
Never drive again.
You would be gonzo.
Yeah.
But it's like, it reminds me of people who like tattle on themselves, basically. It's like what the company's doing. Like, people were like, oh, I think I might have like sped or, like tattle on their friends kind of.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, that's illegal.
Yeah.
You better buckle your seatbelt. I'm not going to start
it's like, yeah, you do drive pretty shitty. Maybe I will.
But we have a lot of fish to fry today.
Yeah.
I want to start with the only movie that was my recommendation, but you had happened to see in the past.
Correct.
Mississippi Burning.
Correct.
Why? Because rest in peace, Gene Hackman, for real.
Yeah.
It sounded like he went in a really bad way.
Yeah.
That's pretty horrible. I'm super sad to hear that.
Yeah. But let's not talk about the bad things about
Let's talk about the good times, yeah. So many good movies, man.
Yeah, I always liked him. He was good in French Connection 1 and 2.
I didn't see 2, but I love 1.
Yeah, I don't remember 2 that well. 1 was really good. The name of the character he played, go.
Give me something Boyle? Irishman Boyle? Something like that?
Yeah, it was a cartoon, a name of a cartoon character. He had
Popeye.
Yeah.
Boyle.
Right? Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wow. Good trivia too, by the way.
Thank you.
But yeah, I love the scene where he's like basically making all the whole bar like take out their pockets and everyone has heroin or drug paraphernalia or money. He's like, I'm gonna keep coming back every week if you guys. I forget what he even wants from them.
Yeah.
I think he just wanted to bust their balls, really.
Yeah.
But that character's super good, and he's in the conversation too. A Francis Ford Coppola film that's pretty good. He's like a professional bugger, like you put bugs in people's phones.
Okay, he does.
Surveillance. Yeah. That's the other way to say that. And that's a completely different role, but he does well with it.
Yeah, he was in one with Will Smith. I can't remember the name of it.
He's your favorite actor, Will Smith.
No, he's not.
But you love Jaden, too.
Jaden far surpassed his mommy and daddy.
Mm-hmm.
I saw her in one movie that I did like, Demon Knight.
Well, Jada Pickett, what's her face? Stupid name.
The girl?
Bitch. Yeah, bitch.
Oh,
she's a
the
bitch.
mom?
Yeah, the mom. She's a bitch.
Jada Pinkett
Smith.
She's from
Detroit.
Baltimore.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. I literally read a magazine. You know, those magazines they have at the airports.
Hair salons. Oh,
hair salons. Yeah. No, at in the back pocket. Mm-hmm. I don't know why. I'm like, I am so freaking bored. I have to read something, and it happened to be an article about her. No, why? Who knows? The woman's done literally nothing in her life.
Well, she was in Demon Knight.
Okay, yeah, she was in that.
And
that was like 30 years ago.
The Matrix.
Yeah, but she was
the star of that show.
Oh yeah. So much so that nobody knows.
But yeah, the son, he's a successful rapper, a successful actor. He is a poet.
And by success, we mean he just does it.
And he wears neat outfits.
Oh my God.
Which if
had the parents
been
given
normal,
it a shot, like trying to be parents, he wouldn't be that weird.
Raising them, yeah.
Yeah.
That is the trade-off.
Yeah. It's like, we're going to be rich and famous, but you kids are going to be so screwed up. I don't know about the third daughter, Willow.
She doesn't seem as talkative as the son, so maybe that's why she seems a lot more normal.
Yeah.
But to people we do like, well, I love Willem Dafoe, and I would say I love Gene Hackman too.
Yeah.
So those two being the lead, I'm like, dude,
yeah,
I'm in.
Yeah.
Like
that's a very powerful cast.
And on top of that, they have Brad Dourif and Frances McDormand.
Yeah.
And she got nominated for Best Supporting Actress in that film. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't know that.
And I think Gene got nominated for Best Actor, and the film as a whole got nominated for Best Picture and won Best Cinematography. So I'm not.
What won Best Picture? Because that'd be a super strong candidate.
Well, talk and I'll look it up.
All right. So yeah, but I mean, it's
tell the people what you like.
Virtue, and I mean this in a good way. It's a virtuous movie, a very virtuous movie, and I don't know if it's based on anything that actually happened or
they make it seem like that is the case.
Yeah.
With the whatever notes at the end, it's almost like it's not. It's the movie with John Belushi. They're all in college. And,
Animal House?
Yeah, Animal House, where they
they have a
went
thing.
On
yeah. Well, obviously that was
that was not true, but
what did Belushi become?
They had president of a car sales place, car dealership.
Senator.
I was close when I said president, and then I expanded and made it worse.
Of a car place.
Of a car.
President of a car place.
Beamer, Bishop, stroke victim.
So you're looking for
Oscars. It's the 89 Oscars.
Something unfindable, I would think.
Which in the site is so stupid. It makes me a little angry. And we're gonna look, and we're getting closer, ladies and gents. Don't leave now. Don't even think about leaving now.
Killing me.
Because if you leave now,
you'll be really disappointed.
You take away the biggest part of me.
Within half an hour, he's gonna find this.
Yeah, if you just give me 10 short minutes, Rain Man.
Oh, okay, all right.
Which I have not seen that yet.
You haven't seen Rain Man?
No, it's very culturally significant. It gets it gets referenced all the time. If someone is good at math, they're Rain Man. If someone's autistic, people think they're good at math. So it's like,
yeah,
it's kind of a catch-all.
It's not one you have to see. I would think Mississippi Burning is one you would more so. You don't need to see any movie, but is
more significant.
More significant than Rain Man. And I understand what Rain Man did.
Well, maybe did you even know what autism was in the late 80s?
I didn't know. Did I? I don't believe I did. Probably not. So, okay, it introduced us to autism, which now these days, it's like you don't need any introduction. Like, what's autism? It's like, well, half my class has it, so it's how Johnny acts.
What's autism? Jimmy. I'm autistic. So are you.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
That would be a hilarious spoof commercial. Because it's like, we have all these medical commercials, like drugs and stuff. But this one, it's just like, here's your diagnosis via commercial. I just think that's comical.
That would be.
It's like over the TV, like, you have autism. But, yeah, I thought that here was the one thing that I did think was slightly odd is with the age discrepancy of Gene Hackman and Frances McDormand, and they kind of have this romance, this attraction. I don't know. I get you want to get Gene Hackman on screen as much as possible. It really maybe would have made more sense if it was Willem Dafoe, because there's chunks of the movie that he's just not in, just not doing anything. It's literally just Gene Hackman's story.
Well, Dafoe wasn't what he is now then.
Yeah,
I mean, he was in Platoon. I don't know when that was. He was a pretty big deal in Platoon. But I think at that time, I mean, he was someone who's going to be a great actor later, of course, considered one. But at the time, I don't think he was. That's the late 80s.
I'm trying. Well, he's in a David Lynch film. I think it's called Wild at Heart with Nicolas Cage. And that might have came out very similar time span of this. But it might have been after.
But, I mean, look, I've never heard of that movie.
Wild at Heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean, but obviously it wasn't like a huge cultural event.
Yeah. Another guy that passed away recently, so rip David Lynch.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, and the guy from Jigsaw, he's also an FBI agent.
Yeah.
Which I just liked. I was like,
I told you I met him, right? You
met him at a school or the airport?
No, at a school.
That is the weirdest.
He was just walking around. Hoodie. I had a job where I went to schools. So I was just driving around this one school that I'd never been to before. And actually, I think the school was a closed school of a major public school system. Major. And I see him, and then I saw his face. I'm like, that's Jigsaw. I know that's Jigsaw. And then I went down and I turned around, and I was like, I can't stop him. But I did stop. I said, hey. And then we talked for a little bit, and he talked about, because at the time, the one Jigsaw I saw him and he died. Mm-hmm. But he said, make sure, there's another one coming out. And I'm thinking, well, you can't be in it. You died. But he was in it.
Yeah, because they
I don't know what happened.
They kind of show back in time, and he had set up stuff. He seems like he would be a cool dude.
He was really cool, yeah. He looks like he's crazy, but...
Yeah, he has a haunting face, which is what makes him so good. I would imagine, fame would kind of suck. I think we can all agree. If we could just be rich and not famous, that's the way to go.
But if I were ever like that, I mean, people would say, aren't you? And I'd say, no, I know. People say that all the time, and I'd be on with my day.
It does... it does have to feel good, though, when people are like, dude, you were so good.
Yeah.
No,
whatever. You're right. I think it's
because they're all theater kids. That's their shit. They're they want to be really good at that.
Well, anybody. Well, yeah, you're right. So you want that acclaim.
Yeah, you want that admiration. If no one talks about it, you're like, because he probably went through that. I wouldn't be surprised if
people say, "Aren't you?" Blah blah blah, and you say, "Yeah." It's like, okay, just walk away.
Hey,
it's what, do you want an autograph? No, that's all right.
I have hurry. I have headshots right here.
With my signature. But anyway, Mississippi Burning, because you got off topic.
We do that all the time.
Yeah, you do. I try to corral you back in. Yeah.
Well, great performances. I know I kind of went on about that. Opening shot, just really great at just setting the mood. And it's it's been captured in photography forever. But it's just a shot of a white and a colored water fountain. Yeah. And it just puts you in the mindset right away. You're shit was different back then.
Oh my God. Yeah. It couldn't. Black people couldn't eat at a restaurant, or, they had black restaurants. They couldn't go to a normal regular restaurant. They couldn't go in.
Yeah, or the seating was segregated.
Well, yeah, either that or they just couldn't go into certain restaurants. They just wouldn't have them. So, obviously, we've come a long way since then. There's a scene in that. Now, remember, I've seen it many moon ago. There's a scene in it where somebody is in a barber chair. Mm-hmm. And they put a knife, or a what do you call that? They shave
straight
razor to his neck.
Brad Dourif. But that you just reminded me, because I was completely gonna blank. Arlie Emery is the mayor in that movie.
Oh, it's that Brad Dourif from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and from the Two Towers.
Yep.
What's it called? Two Towers?
Two Towers, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love
hey, did
him.
you know
he was in Exorcist 3.
They pushed the Two Towers because of 9/11? I think they were going to release it like a year early.
Ah, I didn't know that. But
I could be wrong on that.
Yeah.
I swear I thought I heard... Because that was early 2000s.
I reckon it was, yeah.
Either that, or they were going to call it the Twin Towers and they changed the name to the Two Towers. Something... 9/11 had some impact on Lord of the Rings. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Two things that I remember... I mean, there was a lot of things. But one was... There was a song called Let the Bodies Hit the Floor.
I remember that.
Well, they stopped playing it. And then, you remember the group Anthrax.
Uh-huh. Oh, because Anthrax.
Yeah.
Which, you know, that's like a naturally occurring, like,
it's
whatever.
Yeah. I mean, it's some type of biologic. And I don't know if it's, like, really easy to use as like a bio bomb or not. I think it's kind of hard. Maybe.
Yeah, I think because...
I guess you could figure out a way. And that's what
you would self-contaminate really badly.
No, not in that way. I don't think it's just easy to produce, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. I saw a video about it, and it made me, like, a million times more scared of it than I was.
Anthrax.
Yeah, because before I was like... What's
Big deal.
I was like, powder?
Yeah.
Don't breathe it in, stupid.
Yeah. Just stay away from the powder, man. No, it's pretty nasty, I guess.
Yeah.
It's in your lungs or something?
Yeah, it almost seems like it's like asbestos.
Asbestos. Yeah, but faster.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, it's about hate. It's about institutional racism.
Yeah.
And why it's bad. I mean, you know, that's simple, but the complexities of a town.
But the showing of it.
Yeah.
It's the showing of it.
In Mississippi, like, if you live there, I'm sure you live in the nicest part, and you're the best type of people, but it is not the marvel of the United States. I mean, it's like...
I think it's the poorest state.
Yeah, it's not... There's a lot of stuff that's not ranked well at.
I mean,
although I think education is starting to come up.
It's just rural. You know, I mean, it wasn't a great place for a black person to live, but it's a very rural, you know, nothing wrong with Mississippi. It's hot, probably, as hell, but...
It has the river, though.
Okay, does that help?
Always swim.
Yeah. Oh, it's 150. Well, you got the river. Just jump in, float downstream to the Gulf.
Just don't cramp.
Yeah, don't eat before you go in the river.
What would your rating of the movie
be? It'd be high. So out of 5, you're asking?
Yeah.
I'd put it...
kind of putting you on the spot.
No, like a 3.8. I know you don't go by, but I guess you do. I'd say 3.8.
I gave it a 4 on Letterboxd.
So. 4.1. I'd say 4.1.
You're higher than me, though.
Yeah, it's like the price is right.
Yeah, without going over.
1,500. 1,501. I'm surprised. I was just thinking this today as I actually watched it. The guy who does it is going to get punched in the face by the other guy.
The person who goes one over, oh my god, I would be
pissed.
so...
Dick!
Like, don't do that to someone. That's how you get violent. Next up, Andromeda Strain.
Mm-hmm.
Great recommendation, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I think that movie's very, very good. They remade it, and I watched it because I'm thinking I loved the original.
It's a TV series, right, or a movie?
Well, I guess it was a TV series, but I think they also did a remake of the movie. Yeah, and I'm like, what? I mean, just didn't have it. You know.
This is one that it's so well done.
Yeah.
Like, there's no need.
No.
And I get that's almost always the case, but like...
Yeah, it's...
Dude.
Yeah, well, they're trying to recapture the magic, or you know, it's... I don't know why they do it. It's because the story's written. And it's like, well, the story, it's a really good story.
People probably remember the title.
Yeah, but...
They're like, oh, I saw that, let's watch it again.
Yeah. With new people, and...
It's like when they redid The Thing, and I'm like, looking back now, I'm like, why the fuck would you ever do that?
Well, it was a prequel, wasn't it?
No, it was like the exact story.
Wasn't it Norwegian people though?
Yeah.
Well, the Norwegians, if you remember the actual...
Oh, no shit. Is it really a prequel?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh,
yeah.
Maybe I will watch it then.
It's not worth it, but...
Oh. I thought it was just...
There's an American girl
She was an American girl.
With all these Norwegian dudes.
That just writes itself.
Yeah.
That could have went a completely different direction.
Yeah.
We were going to have fun until aliens show up.
But it was a prequel because it hit
that makes sense. Yeah, because they're like running towards them, like, dude.
And then I think the ending is where the dog gets away because that's the beginning of
3. No. Of the beginning of the next one. Yeah, yeah.
For the sombrero one.
Yeah, Mr. Sombrero. I liked.
What's that for? You're gonna wear it. It's a sombrero. I know. We think it's
your
cool.
big scenes coming up. It was really reminiscent of 2001 in some ways, especially the station with the 5 levels and everything's color coded.
Oh yeah.
When they first get there and they're in level 1, which is red level, that reminded me so much of 2001.
All the decontamination and went through and so forth.
Yeah, because you have the circular structure of that floor, all the floors, but the red suits too remind you of the main guy whose space suit was red.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, I like that.
Had 2 really good actors in it. Arthur Hill was one of them.
One of them looked familiar to me.
James Olsen. I think it was probably Arthur Hill. No, I would think dead now, but he always very respectable actor, good actor. So him and James Olsen were and then this Kate Reed, she was the one who got
She had the glasses and the seizure.
Yeah, she had epilepsy.
Her performance was probably the best.
It was good.
If I had to give an award to someone, ooh,
special effects actually were pretty good for the time.
Special effects were good for the time. Just really quickly.
I don't remember what were they doing when they were in the core. I did see it, like I said, but I saw it a very long time ago, and I remember it pretty well.
With the
laser
nuke?
trying to.
Oh yeah.
It was going to set off a nuke to neutralize the virus.
Okay, so he had to go through the core, which is where the nuke is.
Okay.
And it's set up centrally so that it will just explode up. Kill every level. But that was the only way for him to travel from level 5 to. He ended up going to level 3 because 4 was locked. Because the contamination thing blocked them off completely, so the place to put the key.
Okay.
He had to go that way to actually access a key station. But really quickly, just for Mississippi Burning, we'll do this with all of them if we can think of it. This one I think is ripe. Who is the best performance in your mind?
Hackman.
I agree. I think you can make an argument for Francis McDormand, but
yeah,
some really good performances. Defoe they're all good. I've said it a million times, but I think you go.
There's a certain movies, and that's one of them where you don't think that they're actors playing a role.
You really get sucked into it.
It's just the story. You're watching a story, or you're watching an event or something. You don't think of them as actors anymore. And a lot of times in that one, like Defoe, I kind of thought is just someone who just fit right into whatever they were playing.
He had the look of he looked like a white Malcolm X.
Yeah, I know he had the weird glasses and everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
That's kind of racist, but okay, we'll stick with that.
Back to Andromeda Strain. Best performance I would give to the girl. Speaking of that scene though, where he's getting shot by lasers, that reminded me of James Bond. It was the only sequence that I thought was actually lacking of the entire movie. Everything up to that point, I'm like, this is just he didn't super well done.
He was woozy and he got struck a few times. You didn't dig it?
I didn't hate it, but up until that point, it was so grounded, and it's the red. It's like the bomb under the table. It's literally a bomb under their feet. Mm-hmm. Have you heard that phrase? It's an Alfred Hitchcock phrase. He's
I never heard.
What is suspense? He's like, there's a bomb under the table that is gonna go off, and none of the characters know. That's suspense.
Okay. Oh, but the audience knows.
Yeah, the audience knows.
That's some kind of irony. Dramatic irony, maybe.
Traumatic irony?
Not traumatic, no. Traumatic.
Maybe post-traumatic stress syndrome?
Not even close.
Down syndrome? So Yeah, I mean, there's literally a bomb under the feet. As soon as he gets the key, you're like, so that's going to be a thing. And yeah, that's the climax of the movie. And it's build up, it's build up, it's build up. It's like, hey, something, shit's going to hit the fan eventually. Yeah. And it didn't live up to...
Oh my God, you're a tough audience, man.
I thought it didn't impact the film, in my opinion, though.
I looked this up. No, the guy drank. No, he didn't call it Sterno. Mm-hmm. But the scientist did.
Yeah.
It's extremely toxic. It's a type of alcohol.
Small town living, bro.
But that's what kept him from dying, if you remember.
Because it brought his blood pH.
Acidity, yeah.
To a certain level.
And then the baby was the opposite.
Yeah.
Because she had whatever.
It was crying so much, yeah. It was a little... I was going to call it a bitch baby.
Yeah, that's a bit much.
I think it's rude to say that about a baby, though. They really can't control
Some of them kind of deserve it, though.
Yeah. I'm sure that baby grew up to be, like, president, probably. So, I liked it. And apparently, the, like, scientific...
Dramatic irony, I got that right. That's exactly what it is. The significance of a character's words or actions are clear to the audience or reader, although unknown to the character. So, that was close enough. I get a point.
Yeah, I give you a point.
I got a point. You don't have.
I liked when they went into the town itself.
And they were cutting, and then it was all dry blood.
Sand. That was everything about it super good. Good effects with the bodies in the town. The actual set when they went to the space station. I'm calling it space station. The decontamination zone.
Well, it was just like a shit. I mean, like a wooden building, right? Didn't it?
The shed, at top, and then they go down an elevator. Yeah, it's just a super good idea. I would think
that, I mean, that exists for secret installations.
People think this is like the Area 51 movie.
Oh.
I mean, it is an alien, there's science fiction elements to it.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, sorry. I started to cut you off. They made this super, they kept referring to this again and again. One of the instances was on a chalkboard where one of the scientists is lecturing. They're like, it was a cartoon of a scientist looking in a microscope. There's this amobus blob, and it has...
Wait, to say that word again.
Amobus?
I'm not sure what word you're trying to say. I think I kind of... Go ahead, it doesn't matter.
I don't know what
Amorphous?
Amorphous, maybe, okay. Yeah. That says, take me to your leader. But he's looking through the microscope, so he can't see it's trying to communicate with him. And then there's another illusion when they're like looking at it at first through the microscope, that essentially, if you like, sometimes with scientists, you look too closely at stuff and just miss the bigger picture. I don't know if that was just like commentating on the ending when it's like they almost completely fucked this up.
Yeah.
And yet he's like, hey, we proved ourselves. We proved our necessity. If it wasn't for us, this would have never... It's like they almost put the world in danger by studying it in the first place, whereas had they left it alone, it would have...
taken care of itself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know if that all was just commentating on the ending, or if there was actually something deeper. Like, I felt like... I don't know, when they were looking at the sample, like, maybe... Were you, like, missing something? You know, was it not even the green thing that's really the alien? Mm-hmm. Like, was it the speck that the green thing's on, or something else? Like, were all those people in the town... Probably not that, but am I missing something big? Like, that I should be catching, and I couldn't find it immediately online.
Well, probably not then. I mean, I'm not saying, you know.
I mean, my media literacy is, like, good at times, and other times, like, I feel...
I mean, they don't want to make it so unobvious that...
No one gets it, yeah. But people who have watched that film, like, first of all, let us know what were your thoughts. But also,
many of you haven't, but I would suggest... Because...
Me too.
Very, very... I don't know, it just seemed, like, classier than anything that would probably be made today. I think because there was very good acting.
I agree. I think if it got made today...
Because it has... There's a dialogue and a plot.
Mm-hmm. I can't put my finger on it, but something about it being filmed in that time period, it just makes it feel more classic. I guess maybe it aged. It's like a fine wine. In a way,
it may be. Remember we were talking about Technicolor and stuff like that. Now I don't remember specifically, but sometimes those films had a more light or a more vibrant, colorization and so forth. And I don't know if that one did or not. I can't remember. There's some westerns that I've seen that you're like, oh my god, this is like like the film's alive.
And that definitely helped it because my mental picture, if they did it today in digital. It's like now you have to invest an insane amount of money for it to even rival this, which it definitely cost a pretty penny to make, but what, $10 million for the time, we'll say like that's like what, times 8 to get to today's currency?
It's only $80 million. I bet you a movie like that would cost. Well, no, maybe.
No, I'm just saying like $1 in 1971 would be $8 today.
Okay, yeah.
I can put an inflation calc. It's probably 10.
Yeah.
$100 million. I think you'd have to, dude. You'd be surprised how much movies cost nowadays. Like,
hey. Speaking of, and I'm cutting you off here. I just read.
I do that enough to you, so you owe me one.
More than one. But I was reading about Snow White.
Okay.
And
big fan?
Yeah, huge fan. Listen,
that's coming out soon.
It's coming out next week, I think. So, and they were talking about like normally you would expect under normal circumstances this to be like inviting press from around the world and having and I guess the like initial premiere or whatever, first step, whatever they do for a movie premiere was just no one. They'd invited no one to this.
Just
thing.
Family and friends.
Pretty much. And not like that. I didn't realize
like a high school football game. Only the parents are in the
parents show up. Zellweger has talked a lot about Palestine and so forth. The thing is,
it's not Zellweger. Is it
Zegler? Zegler.
Yeah, Zellweger's a different actress.
Shut up. We know. We don't. Well,
care. You don't want to put bad on.
Nobody cares about her anyway. Listen. So Zegler, who's been. I mean, she's been political about a lot of things, but in his Palestine thing, she has been. But the thing about it is, Gal Gadot was in the IDF.
I know.
She was I mean, no, they all have to.
Yeah, it's mandatory Israeli. Service. But how many women have had to serve?
Well, in Israel.
In the world.
Well, yeah, in the world, you're right.
Like 1%.
Yeah, but obviously, she's probably pretty pro-Israel, and these two are co-stars.
That's funny.
Yeah, I mean...
You think she would have had a more nuanced take after working
just don't talk about it until the movie comes out.
Or, I mean, if you're going to choose a topic, choose something a little more polarizing. Let's be provocative, actually.
So many darn things you could get... I mean, look, your co-star's Israeli. For like a couple months, do you think you could shut the F up about the Palestinian thing? Just until the movie premieres, and then you can go do anything you want,
Yeah.
Anyway, that was something I brought. But they said it's gonna.
And she didn't even have like the based take of like. Yeah, she didn't have a based take. She had a cucky take, which makes her icky.
She is kind of icky.
Yeah,
I've seen her times she looked attractive. Other times, not so much.
She kind of looks like a gingerbread man that gets deformed facially.
That's exactly what I thought. Sometimes she's attractive. Other times, was she in West Side? She was in West Side Story, I think, right?
That's what I've heard. That's what the rumors are.
You watched it?
No, I haven't. I haven't watched it.
You taped it. You're gonna watch it later.
That's Steven Spielberg, though. I think.
I don't care. It's awful. It's stupid.
Who is
Jewish? Yeah, I know.
So you think she would? You think she would have some like decorum?
Renee, is that her name? Renee?
Rachel. Yeah, you're getting her mixed up with Renee Zellweger. Who never did a bad thing to anyone, by the way. Andromeda Strain, what do you rate it?
I love it. I say 4. That's a 4.
Yeah, I give it a 4 as well. Next up, we have... You love this one. This might... if I had to wager a guess which one's your favorite, I would say it's this. The Dogs of War. I wanted to say the whole quote, and I couldn't remember exactly what it was. I was going to butcher it.
Cry havoc and let slip the Dogs of War.
And that's Julius Caesar?
Yes. And back in those days, I think the Dogs of War maybe they were soldiers or maybe they were actual dogs. It's like you've basically conquered on the battlefield, and now you just pillage and burn. Yeah. I think is basically what it means.
Cerberus would be considered a dog of war in my cauldron or squadron. Do you know who Cerberus is?
With 3 heads?
He's the dog of hell, yeah.
Oh.
Protects Hades. I love Roman history. This movie isn't about that, but I do really appreciate the reference. Another it's not Willem Dafoe. It's freaking Christopher Walken. I was working on an impression of him for the episode that we did this, and I can't do it. Just
trying to do it.
Well,
that's not bad.
You call me. You want?
I didn't say keep going. I said that wasn't bad.
Dogs of War. We'll be there.
That was. When I was younger, I used to love stories about, and there wasn't that many of them, but like it was an exotic type movie because it was about
Africa.
It was about Africa. It was about mercenaries. It was about, I don't know, just like, him acting super cool whenever, it was just.
He is badass in this movie, without doubt.
Oh my God.
It begins, you immediately know he's Tommy Tough Nuts.
Yeah.
Not in like an over-the-top type way either, where you're like, okay, I could fucking kick Christopher Walken's ass.
He's just hardcore mercenary, where, just try to do your job and survive.
Too. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes they did this with Will Smith in Suicide Squad, where he plays the Deadshot. And I love DC anything. Mm-hmm. As with Marvel, like I do really like those characters. But they made it such a point to make sure everyone knew he was a Billy Badass. Meanwhile, he's getting cucked out by his wife, but we won't talk about that. I just, you know what I mean?
We had to talk about it on our podcast. Remember that time I cheated on you? That guy had a big, you know what?
Like, it was annoying.
That was a terrible movie.
It was a terrible. That's one of the cardinal sins that did. This movie is the opposite.
Yeah.
You come out of that liking Christopher Walken a shit ton.
Right.
Thinking he's badass, but they never beat you over the head with it. Actions.
No, his acting does it. His acting does it.
And then he gets the shit kicked out of him. And they're like, yeah, you got pretty fucked up.
Oh
they're like, they like broke your skull.
Yeah.
And you're probably going to die soon. Sooner rather than later. Not like years, but he's like, yeah, they took some years off the back end of your life. Which, if my doctor says that.
So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed what you've had because it's not going to last forever.
I hope you don't like skiing. It's kind of out of the cards now.
So, yeah. I don't know. It just... the movies back... I don't know. Just certain movies are made... they seem so authentic.
This does very much that.
Yeah.
And there's other things, and I want to look just to make sure. I don't know if this was 81 or if this was in the 70s. It was in 80. So it was on the precipice of a different decade, which...
But that's still a 70s movie, though.
It feels way more 70s than 80s.
Yeah, for sure.
Like the news reporter, when he gets ran over by that car, I was like, that is the type of death that you see in 70s movies, and that's it.
Yeah.
And they were picture perfect, man.
Yeah.
Like it captures that real life, like, holy fuck, I just saw something really not disturbing, but it's like the atrocity of life.
Yeah.
And it's that quick, he's dead, and like it kind of sinks in a way that, like, if you really saw someone die, you'd be like, what the fuck? That guy just got ran over by a car.
My favorite line from the movie, I'm almost sure, there's maybe another movie this is from, but I don't think, and you can tell me if I'm right. Someday we're going to go to war over rice. Did somebody say that?
It's the only one that I can recall. But I remember that was in the movie, yes.
But the reason I like it is, in essence, everything's about survival. Mm-hmm. It's like, we want to do the right thing, and we want to be, but when it comes right down to it, life is about pure survival. being able to eat, and that's what it's about resources. I don't know what aluminum, bauxite.
I don't even think they even ever say.
They don't really say, but they wanted they want to install a puppet leader and mine the crap out of the place, which is they did a lot of that in the 60s, 50s and 60s.
Yeah, they called it the
Rush for Africa.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, they have look at it now, dude. I mean, there's like little African children who are dying on their way out of mines, and they're just grabbing whatever mineral we need from their dead hands.
They are. Like cobalt is a big one.
Is that because of EVs?
Yes.
It's used in batteries?
Yeah, there's two of them. There's cobalt.
Lithium?
Lithium. And I think most of lithium, one or the other, comes from like somewhere in Africa, the Congo, I believe. Well, the other one comes from China, primarily.
Yeah, because I know China makes a lot of EVs too.
Yeah. And then they have the raw materials. And we buy those, and then they also use them in manufacturing. Yeah. But they say which one it is, I think it's the cobalt mines are like third level of hell.
Fun to work in?
I mean, not that I know, but I would think it's just child labor. It's just, in a big pit.
Yeah, I can imagine. And like Africa has a ton of they're very resource rich when it comes to...
What's a huge continent? I mean,
yeah, very true.
I mean, if you took North America,
blood diamonds are African diamonds, right?
Yeah.
So,
but a lot of diamonds. I think the majority of diamonds do come from Africa. But like any continent, underdeveloped as Africa is, like for instance, like in Europe, is all mined out essentially. Like there's no copper, there's no iron, because they've been mining there since like the 1400s or maybe even before that. So it's like all gone. They say France has no natural resources. That's why at one time, I don't know if they're so into nuclear power because they didn't have any fossil fuels.
Well, smoke them if you got them.
That's exactly what they... I mean, it's like we need power.
Yeah, what do you want
to have
the
lights on, right? Yeah. We don't have to shower, but, we want the lights on.
So let me start with the definitively good, like... The film is gritty, like you said. I mean, it captures the feel, too, of this kind of sweaty...
There's a big butt coming.
Not yet. This sweaty, uncomfortable country like Africa. Yeah. Where I'm actually... I've teetered a little bit, because I first brought this up to you right when I watched it, was the brevity of expressing character traits with Christopher Walken... Was that actually a really good way to present things, or could they have let things soak in more? And I've actually kind of wrestled with myself on this. I think both could work, and maybe
he's a pretty simple character. I mean, really, so he had that girl who was, I can't remember. She's an actress, a well-known actress.
I don't know.
She was in.
I didn't recognize her.
She's an actress. I'll look it up. But she was in the movie The Big Chill. I don't know if you didn't see that.
I didn't see it, no.
So that was his... But I think it was like a high school girlfriend. Or like shortly thereafter. Like he didn't go to college, all right? He probably went into the military. And then he got into like being a mercenary. And the woman, he wanted her to settle down with him. And she's like, you can't... I know you. You can't do that. Mm-hmm. So he's a simple character. It's right. Like he just couldn't be normal. We really, really would like to be, but he isn't. And
he's a tragic character.
Yeah. But he's a mercenary. There's people addicted to war. He's addicted to war.
To conflict. Or I guess war, whatever. But he seemed like he obviously became disenfranchised with it on this mission because he realized what being a mercenary entailed. In this specific scenario.
Right.
He's like, you guys are fucking everyone over. And he understands the dynamics of the country in his short time there.
Yeah.
It's like you have a madman who basically sold out his country, and you want to install someone who is that exact person. Except you have more control.
One wanted to be God, one wanted to be what?
Rich.
Right.
True. Yeah.
Well, it's the same type of thing, though. They both basically want to be dictator king.
Yeah.
Just for different reasons, you know?
And he meets the doctor who's like, this is an actual...
good person.
Yeah. So, I'm taking it. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
I think actually the brevity is good with it because it just communicates it. You don't need to sit on every single scene. You can get some magic when you do that, and there wasn't as much magic as I wanted.
Okay.
And I think that's why I felt that yearning for, like, let these scenes stretch out and let's get to something that we...
Jo Beth Williams is...
See, that
is
name doesn't even...
She's an older actress. You wouldn't know her. She's probably in her late 70s now. But she was well known back when she did The Big Chill. And she was in this one, although at that time she probably wasn't known.
Oh, The Big Chill was after Dogs of War?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that a good movie, The Big Chill?
It's okay. Where's she at? Yeah, Jo Beth Williams. It's about these kids that went to University of Michigan. They are all, like, intelligent and, like, you know, they're, like, not elitist. I don't know how to explain. You know, they're bright kids.
Preppy?
Kind of, yeah. And then they're all successful now, and one of their group commits
seppuku.
And that's what the word Big Chill means, is death.
I didn't know that.
They all come back. Well, I'm kind of just assuming that's what it means. I don't know. But I assume it is. So they all come back for his funeral, and they talk about how they're, you know, back then they were like revolutionaries, kind of, you know what I mean? And now how they've compromised their values for real life. That's basically what it is.
Yeah.
It's okay. I mean, it was well received. I mean, it did, you know, it was a well thought of movie when it was out. But
yeah, it's just like...
if you like drama, I don't think you would like it, but I wasn't crazy
drama.
about it.
Everything's drama.
Well, yeah. Yeah, you might like it. Good people in it. Goldblum's in it.
Jeff Goldblum.
Yep.
I like
Tom
him.
Berenger, who was also in Dogs of War. Do you remember him?
Which one? I don't even know if you'd be able to... I can't remember.
Did you see Platoon?
Else. See the guy with the huge scar on his face?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know him.
Yeah, he was in it. William Hurt, Glenn Close, Kevin Kline.
Even
Goldblum.
Kevin Kline.
Oh, Costner was in it? I didn't know that.
Ooh, Kevin Cost.
What's how he played?
Yeah, but the Dogs of War, I liked it. Anyone else who watched this, kind of give me your take too. Did you feel that way? Because it was rated surprisingly low on Letterboxd.
Yeah, you said that, and I'm thinking, well, you know, you have those movies you watch when you're at a certain age or whatever, you're younger, and
sticks with you.
Yeah, it's just I love this movie, you know, and that was like, there's a lot of Bond movies I felt that way about. I just loved them because they were exotic, and because back then you didn't have, you know, they'd be in London and they'd be in, you know, Siberia, or not Siberia, whatever. But like there was always generally 3 locations for a Bond movie.
That's very valid. Yeah, that's a huge aspect of a Bond film.
Yeah,
it's like we're in Morocco.
Yeah, now
we have to go to China. Element. They should go to China.
I don't know about that. You ever see Spy Game? You got to watch Spy Game. You got to watch it. It's got Redford.
Kids.
They're different.
How do you feel about Robert Redford as an actor?
Well, in this, I really liked him. Otherwise, he doesn't really do anything at all for me. I don't think he's all that. I don't think he's a very good actor.
He's good in All the President's Men, but there's other stuff I've seen him in where I'm like,
he just kind of, he doesn't, I don't know. But anyway, he was in this, and Brad Pitt. And you gotta see this movie. Well, I shouldn't say that because there's certain movies I really dig. Yeah. Dogs of War is one of them, and Spy Game was another one. I think you'll like it though. I think it's very good.
I do like spy films. After watching all those Bond films, I was like, I actually like this.
Good spy film to me, there is nothing better than a good spy film.
Yeah,
in my opinion, because I liked them from when I was, a kid. I loved them. I just thought they were awesome.
Dogs of War, I gave a 3.5 out of 5.
I loved it. I'm going to give it a 4. I just loved it. Now, I haven't seen it, like, in a very long time.
4, just for your...
I know 4 means 80%.
No, you're going to have to rank them at a certain point.
Okay. Of the ones we're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, those are two good ones right there that we originally talked about.
And
well, three good ones. Mississippi Burning. And nothing against that. And I think it's a great movie. But believe it or not, I'd rank Andromeda and Thing ahead of it just because I like that subject matter.
Well, don't spoil.
Okay, well, yeah, I spoiled it. All right.
Where the Buffalo Roam.
Yeah, we don't have to spend a lot of time on this. You watched it. I appreciate that. I just thought Murray was hilarious. I actually imitated his performance of Hunter S. Thompson because I don't know who Hunter S. Thompson was. When I watched it. And then I read about him afterwards.
Knowing about him though.
Did you really?
Yeah, just because like when I was in high school, I watched Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
That movie is fucking insane.
Well, he was kind of like that. But
that movie takes it to another level.
Well, is there a part...
Can I just say, I thought it disturbed my brain after watching it. Like the drug sequences from that movie. Yeah. As 14-year-old me, I was like, I feel weird.
I only watched part of it because in the part that I was watching was Peter Boyle. He was
in the Buffalo, where the Buffalo.
What was that character's name? Because he was. Well, what was he? He was
the lawyer guy.
The lawyer. Okay.
The guy who's
lawyer.
But some people say Del Toro plays in Fear and Loathing.
Oh, Del Toro. Was he in a bathtub in a scene in his own?
In which one?
Shit.
In
Fear and Loathing. I swear to God, he was when I saw that.
I don't know about his own poop.
Okay, maybe.
I could be just forgetting that part. Yeah. I think there's bathtub scenes where they're like just yacked out of their gourd and.
Yeah, I mean that wasn't all he was. I mean he was high a lot, and he did some crazy stuff when he was. But it sounds like they overdid it with that, like that he just did drugs.
Yeah, I don't know him enough to know if.
Well, I don't either. I mean, I know him a little more than you do, probably, because I think I read a book about him or something.
I want to read Fear and Loathing and
crazy, like I don't know. Go ahead.
So there's like a huge poster. I mean, if like kids close to my age, it's like a college poster.
I know,
because he lists all the drugs he's taking, and I am assuming that's ripped right out of the book, and I think that's why he gets that rap, because it's like, I mean, that, you know, in his writings he wrote about all the he had a briefcase full of drugs.
He smoked a pipe in your version, because in Where the Buffalo Roam he had a pipe in all the time, and it, you know, that he talked funny because he always had a pipe in.
Well, you know, he would have the cigarette filter with the cigarette in it the majority of the time.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Then that's the look. Like, if anyone was like, hey, dress up like Hunter S. Thompson, it would be like a hat, shades, the filter, a cigarette, probably a Hawaiian shirt, and like cargo shorts. And like, you got it nailed. Yeah, and
well, what did you think of it?
It was good. It covers more ground, which like I like.
Right.
And the anecdotes were interesting. There was humor, but I don't know. I think I was just expecting more because it had such a tough comparison. Terry Gilliam he's the guy who did Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, and he is
Monty Python?
I believe so, yeah. Okay. And he also did another movie called Brazil, and that's supposed to be like off the fucking wall, insane. And that is Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. I mean, that movie is fucking insane. Like, it visually captures everything. This movie felt like, let's act out these stories that were told to us. There was something. There was a disconnect.
It's almost like skits or almost.
Yeah, kind of like that. You know, like
It was Bill Murray, which at the time, you know, he killed himself. Did you know that, Hunter S. Thompson? He shot himself with a shotgun, and I think part of the reason he did that was because a very famous writer did the same thing.
Not Hemingway.
Yeah, Hemingway.
Was it?
I believe Hemingway killed himself like that. He shot himself.
Well, he loved Hemingway, I think.
Did he? Okay.
And I guess Hemingway was very...
influential?
Well, not that, but he was... I don't know if morose is the right word, but the way he spoke of death was kind of like...
You know what? Oh, it's
like okay, well, it's got to... Yeah, very cynical, I think.
He did the same thing. He killed himself. He shot himself. They called him something. Poppy
don't say the K yourself. Don't say the whole word anymore. I got to cut it out every time.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forget.
It's... Hey.
No, I know.
I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at the system. I think you should be able to say...
Well, I mean, we're not doing like...
And I think Hunter S. Thompson would agree that you should be able to say...
Oh, believe me, he did. You ever heard... You've heard of Gonzo? That was his journalism type. That was actually a bad thing. Because what it is, it's just he interpreted events. He didn't report on them, you know?
So it could be wildly stretching the truth.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, just his opinion was 75% of what actually happened. I believe that's what Gonzo journalism is.
That is something that this film and Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas capture really well, is even the way he spoke. It was captivating in the weirdest way. That rhythm of speaking...
Yes.
I
think that was a big part of why I liked that movie. It was just something about the way he spoke. How it sounded.
And if you read his writing and his words, it's like enthralling. Because it's like... It kind of reminds me... Do you remember when George was telling the great whale speech?
Yeah.
It's like the seas were angry that day, my friend. Like, that is kind of what it is. He's a great storyteller. And he just... the metaphors and analogies... He's talking about the Super Bowl and, you know... he's making it sound like... He's like, there's federal men trading ties with one another to see... Will they influence the big game the way that they did the election? And then, I mean, his hatred of Nixon
oh God,
is very prevalent. And I guess even Bill Murray had felt that way too. And I said this to you previously. They knew each other. Like, they were at least acquaintances.
Yeah, I did not. Thompson. That really... I mean, I guess it doesn't really surprise me. It's just I wonder how... Because he was nuts. I mean, he was a good writer, I think. But he was insane.
He seems normal when he's being interviewed.
Well,
he definitely talks weird.
Yeah, he talks weird. I shouldn't say, but I think it was high so much.
Well, when he's being interviewed, he really doesn't. He seems coherent. He doesn't seem like he's blasted.
Well,
like the way you know they.
Did he? Well, I know. Well, in Buffalo Room, he flew a plane, right?
Yeah, they made it sound like everyone flew because it was like the crew plane.
Yeah.
So you have the reporters and then all their lighting people, their boom guys. That plane, they called it the zoo, and they just made it seem like everyone took a turn.
Like driving a car. Like driving a bus.
Okay, you got 45 minutes.
Damn it, I hate flying.
But if this is real, this is pretty freaking awesome. Is that he like swapped spots with a Washington Post guy.
Yeah, I remember that.
Allowed him access with Nixon. And I think... so the reason I knew about Murray knowing S. Thompson was from a Joe Rogan podcast excerpt. I think he said on there that Thompson was actually given time to talk with Nixon. They said, you don't talk about politics. We'll let you speak with him, but you can't talk about politics.
Okay.
It was either him or I don't know. They were talking about how Elvis met Nixon too, I think. But
I think said Elvis Thompson was really drunk when he did that.
He's probably on like heavy duty painkillers because that's what did him in.
Yeah, he was on the bathroom.
Which is that shit constipates you really bad.
Yeah. How would you know that though?
People talk about it.
Well, I've never heard anybody talk about it. How do you know that? All right, so you didn't like that. So.
I did.
No,
I gave it a 3 out of 5. 3 is good, and it's still like But a 3...
It's like a 4, but less, right?
A 3 I don't recommend to people. Well, I sort of do, but it's a soft recommendation. I have to know... If you're like, I like Hunter S. Thompson, I would say, hey...
Fear and Loathing.
In this, too. But if you're like...
I don't know who he is.
Yeah, if I don't know who I'm recommending for, like, I'll give you, like, maybe a 5 to a 4. Those are, like, safety.
Yeah. All right, so you made your point.
Best actor? Do you have any?
In that movie?
Yeah, I think you have limited.
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Yeah, because...
he's the only one.
But honestly, in Fear and Loathing...
Oh, Peter Boyle was in that. Okay.
You could give it to Benicio in that.
Well, Benicio's in Fear and Loathing.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. In this, I don't know if you could give it to Peter Boyle, and I love him. I'm a big fan of him in Young Frankenstein. He's amazing in Everybody Loves Raymond, but... Yeah. Does he elevate that character as much as Benicio does?
Well, I didn't... Yeah. That's a hard... I didn't see both of them.
Go ahead, my friend.
It's one little thing about...
Peter Boyle.
Where the Buffalo Roam. No, Where the Buffalo Roam. No, was there a scene in there where there was a kid who got caught with pot?
Yeah.
And he got a real big sentence.
So you know what? Peter Boyle actually does do really well.
Well, aside from that...
That was a good scene, though.
Yeah. But just to show you how the times have changed, what was the sentence? Do you happen to remember?
5 years.
Okay, so compare that...
Second offense.
It was in Texas, right?
I thought it was in California.
It might be. So, well, in real life in Texas, there was this case where this kid got this, like, 20 years for, like, a gram. But anyway, compare that to now where states are selling pot for much stronger pot for recreational use. And as far as medicinal use, basically you can say my elbow hurts sometimes and get it.
Like, thinking of my back makes me have pain.
It helps with anxiety. Well, it's like anybody can say, do you have anxiety? Yeah, okay, I can give you the card. So it's essentially like recreational use, even where it's not,
Yeah, considered, where it's still medicinal. And that's how it was in California when they were one of the few medicinal states, is it's like candy, you know. What I will say, and I don't know if you can 100% attribute this to Nixon, but he was one of the people, from what I understand, who really, really was trying to throw water on the whole hippie movement by class 3ing all those drugs, all the psychedelics. And I think weed was, unfortunately, I mean, it's very much linked to the hippie movement too. I mean, as much as acid.
Yeah, they didn't. It wasn't just him, definitely him, but because they didn't know
what the long-term effects.
Well, not of the drugs, of the hippie movement.
Yeah, where would that take
us? Because you should do some reading on that, and our listeners should too, because there was something called the Weather Underground. Okay,
was that how LSD was being manufactured?
No, the Weather Underground they were terrorists. Okay, Ooh. They were domestic terrorists, and I don't know what organization. It may have been them who talked about a revolution, and they talked about re-education. And
so they were very communist.
Oh yeah, and someone said, because a guy named Bill Ayers, he was in the news back around Obama because he was his neighbor, was in the Weather Underground, and he did an undercover FBI agent got into the Weather Underground, and he heard discussions, and they said, well, what about the people we can't re-educate? And he said,
kill them.
Yeah,
which is how most revolutions, playbooks, violent revolutions.
Well, I mean,
all communist regimes.
Yeah. They didn't have any arms or anything like that, but that was their ideology. And Bill Ayers was arrested and got off on a technicality because he did, I don't know, they bombed something, or they didn't do a lot of things like that. How did I get on that subject anyway?
Well, we were talking about throwing water on the hippie movement.
Right. Well, because there was and they were probably pretty sure, I mean, probably knew that was going on. That there were violent elements within the hippie movement. Most of it was not.
Thinking is how a Fed catches operations like that? they start operations like that.
That's happened. I understand that.
Well, a lot more nowadays. Maybe not back then, but
no. I know that they trump up, but there were
the Manson family, dude.
I just watched that Chaos. It's on thing. Did you see it?
Is it?
Yeah, it's on.
You read the book too, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't know how much of it is true. A lot of it does kind of sound true.
I mean, the dude was reporting, on that for 20 years. They gave, when the story broke, they're like, hey, we want you to write a column on this.
Yeah.
And he just kept discovering more. And he's like, the story's not
back
done
to
yet.
MK Ultra, right? Did you know that?
Something like, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, because they thought it was federal, that they made Haight-Ashbury the ground zero of, let's see,
experimenting with LSD, what you could do for mind control. Yeah,
and apparently, and I think this works into, I think it's Project something about Wormwood, where CIA agents, they were, how can we use LSD? So they would drug each other a lot with LSD just to.
What's that? That's the guy who jumped out the window.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was a scientist, I believe.
Yeah, and the son is he had it was completely unprompted.
Yeah.
He didn't just get in a fight, he was just in his hotel with his wife and decides taking the fast elevator to the
ground floor.
But yeah, I mean, it really does seem like there
was a lot of Cold War stuff because we didn't know because they were trying to do it.
Did we ever use it?
Huh?
Did we ever use it in a beneficial
no, but not
way?
everything that you try to develop is going to work.
I know, but you don't use civilians as tests.
Well, no, you don't. But sometimes when you're fighting, I mean, if you think we did dirty stuff,
if you do it to the Russians, I don't care.
Well, they had to figure out if it worked. They tried something called remote viewing. Did you ever hear of that?
Isn't that when you sleep?
No, it's certain people. I don't think it's true.
Project.
Kind of, yeah. They can see things happening in another part of the world,
which is kind of like imagination.
It's this is what he saw, and I saw this. They drew this one picture. I look like a 4-year-old. Truly, it's supposed to be a submarine base somewhere.
He's like, it's in the ocean.
It's wet.
I saw it.
It's wet. What do you mean by that? That's all I saw. That's all I could see.
I saw the bottom of the ocean, guys. It's dark.
All right, so you've
done your. After talking about it, I like it a little bit more, but as it stands, I gave it a 3.
That's all right.
Which isn't bad, but, and I've said it so many times. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas is a must-watch if you want something on there.
I might watch that. Because
if you do, let me know, as I'll watch it again.
All right.
Because it's been a while for me.
All right, next up.
Matchstick Men with Nicolas Cage and Sam Rockwell.
Do you? The funniest, because Cage was good with the germophobia.
Yeah.
And I remember. Do you remember there was the one scene where Sam Rockwell, I think, came to his door or something and was wiping his ass on everything.
Yeah. And which is, if you have a type of friend like that. That isn't out of the realm of possibility.
No.
That they just are kind of an asshole. But Rockwell, okay, so let's start here. Nick Cage, twice nominated, once awarded as a Best Actor, is the leading role in this movie. And then Sam Rockwell is the supporting actor, also twice nominated for Best Supporting Actor and once awarded.
For what? What did he get awarded for? Moon?
No, for 3 Billboards in something, Missouri. Ebbing, Missouri. And then Nick Cage, I don't remember what the nomination was, but Leaving Las Vegas is what he won for.
Right.
And I thought Nick Cage definitely freaking took that role and owned it. As that's really a Nick Cage role. The movie does not exist without Nick Cage.
Yeah,
at least in this iteration.
Yeah.
Because who the fuck... And ironically, we're just talking about a movie that this guy's in. Maybe the only other guy who could do it is Johnny Depp. You know the way he plays Captain Jack Sparrow, where he's very I don't know how he would do with OCD, but Cage is the dude.
I can't think of... Man, you could be right on that. I don't know. I can't think of anyone else. It was just... I mean, that was just humorous the whole time. Mm-hmm. His kind of... I'll call it being uptight, but I mean, it was OCD and, germophobia and all this other stuff, and it just made him a very humorous character,
Yeah.
And then Sam Rockwell, like, complete opposite, where, he probably...
Couldn't have a care in the world.
Drink urine. He doesn't give, he doesn't care and takes opportunities to make fun of Nick Cage and that. That's good.
I really liked the beginning, too, because you think the scam, and then you don't realize it's like they're a step ahead of you, the viewer. And that kind of ends up being how the ending is, too, because, spoiler alert, so if you want to check out that movie, I would say it's a solid movie to watch. I give it a 3.5 out of 5.
Yeah.
So I knew there was something going on with the little girl. It just seemed there was too many things that they were leaving obviously suspicious for you to kind of pick up on. And it was like almost the red herring and like...
Well, I haven't seen it in a long time. So this girl was supposedly...
His daughter.
And it wasn't.
It was not, no. So here was what was sketchy about it. He couldn't bear to get on the phone to talk to his wife. Yeah. So he asked his therapist, will you call her? And he does, which no therapist would ever do. Like... I don't know if that's how you'd lose your license. I just think...
You could.
They're probably like, why would I open the door to, like, these stupid requests?
Yeah.
Like, I'm becoming his secretary. And he says, yeah, you have a daughter. She wants to meet you. And then she says, this is my phone number. It's not Mom's phone number. It's because I talk too much on the phone. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay. And then she doesn't want to get dropped off at the house.
Yeah.
So it's like, very clearly, they're trying to keep lines of separation there so that it's harder for him to uncover it. And then you get to the end where they bring in like all these actors essentially who are in on the ruse.
Like at the end when he's in the hospital bed?
Even before then, when the drug deal's gone bad and the guy shows up at his apartment.
Yeah.
He's like, I called the mom and she was all too happy to give me your address. We were like, shit. Was she the daughter for real?
Yeah.
Because I thought it was a ruse for the psychiatrist and the daughter on him. So it's like the con man gets conned.
Right.
Never suspected Sam Rockwell to be the guy behind everything. So you hear that and you're like, fuck, she's...
The daughter.
Yeah. And then he's in the hospital and you're like still reeling. And then... I think it was when he woke up by himself. I'm like, oh shit! It was like he gave up the number.
Yeah.
But
he came out. It was just like a room on top of a building, right?
Yeah. It was just I don't know how. It just blew
you away. Like, where the hell was that? What kind of building has that? But that just when you saw that, it's like, oh my god, somebody pulled a huge scam on him.
I know. It's really well done because you're like, I got this movie figured out. I have it figured out. Then you get to the end and you're like, you really don't. You're like, which way is up?
Yeah.
And then you find everything out.
That's very, very good scripting.
I completely agree because it was early on, like when you meet the daughter where you're like, I said it out loud. I'm like, she's scamming him.
Yeah.
But to be able to twist that at the just swerve, that's how you do it.
But then a really, really good ending.
Yeah, I like that
woman. How? No, he's working at the end. He's working
at a carpet store.
It was carpet. Okay, so where did he meet her at?
She was always the checkout lady at the grocery store.
Okay, all right. And didn't really have he would talk to her or something
more than
anyone
else. Yeah, because everyone else was like didn't exist to him. If there is a lot of movies I have smoking, but this one it seems like oddly prevalent in it.
I agree, but that's a very satisfying ending though. To me,
I agree. Yeah,
with him.
And he's on good terms with the girl who played the daughter, too.
Yeah. He, so he was taking like a placebo.
Yeah, they were giving him menopause pills, which was that was a funny little sprinkle. And then, too, that's when you think, okay, the ruse is up. Like, he's going to realize this guy's not a real psychiatrist.
Yeah.
Because that you can't do. You shouldn't be taking menopause pills as a man. And I'm like, okay, he uncovered it. And then he's like, no, it was to prove, you were doing well with your daughter. You didn't need anything at all.
Yeah.
And he's back on board. And I'm like, no, that's
still sketchy.
It's like, why isn't it's Ridley Scott, too. Did you know that was the director?
No, I didn't. So that's why it was good. That's why it was good. He just adds that.
But it's a little-known Ridley Scott film, and think about all the greats that he's had over the course of his career.
Never, ever would have. Although, when you say that, I'm like, okay, that's his genius involved.
But it doesn't feel like
very
a Ridley Scott
mundane
film.
Well, not mundane, like whatever. It's a con man movie,
which I like.
The Sting. I do too, if it's done well. But there's really not a lot of good
con
movies like that. There's The Sting,
which is a classic.
Yeah,
Paul Newman is.
Well, it's because they've got Newman in it. Redford's in it, but like you said,
Redford is barely even.
He's in it a lot, but he doesn't do anything for it.
Yeah, Newman kills that movie, man.
He just had charm. He was charming.
He was, yeah. That's what
Charisma.
Redford. He's like. I feel like he's an actor for the girls. Does that make sense? He has boyishly good looks, and
he's attractive, but he's not charming.
I know, but I think women
probably.
I think men appreciate charm more than. I don't know what I'm saying right now. I'm not gay for one.
Well,
but Paul Newman he had this aura about him.
It's a charisma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas Redford, and he's in another movie where he's slightly better, but Paul Newman is still
Sundance and
in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. And it's when those two are together, it's a good movie.
Yeah.
But it's Paul Newman is the dude.
Well, he's definitely Batman and Robin, and not even a great
for
Robin.
sure. Yeah. That would have been a film to make because I could see Redford playing Robin. Yeah.
I don't know about that. Did you see Butch Cassidy, Sundance Kid?
Yeah.
All right. So they robbed the train the one time, and there was the one guy who would not open the safe.
Oh, and then they robbed him again.
Well, no, maybe it was the first time of this. I think a second time the guy said, "No, I'm not letting you in here," and he said, "John, is that you?" Because he remembered him from before.
That's funny.
He did blow up the train. It was like an atomic bomb went off.
Oh, I know. I was like, they just fucking killed that dude. But the comedy is that he's, he comes out and he's got like ash all over him and soot. That's a damn good movie.
Yeah.
I like that movie a lot.
Yeah.
But Matchstick Men, like I said, 3.5.
Yeah, same.
And I hate to go with the lead almost every time. I know Andromeda Strain, I went The Woman, but it's Nick Cage by a mile.
Oh, yeah.
In this one.
No, in this case, Sam Rockwell is he was a very good support.
And well, here's the thing about
great,
it. If he's in the movie too much, it raises your suspicion. He was in it just the right amount to where he's kind of out of sight, out of mind. You don't think, oh, he's behind the scam.
Yeah, I didn't.
I had no freaking clue.
And I almost felt betrayed when I found out that he did that.
It's like, that fucker. Yeah,
that little dickhead. Because you like him, but you know what kind of person he really is, that he would do something like that.
Yeah, very believable. I liked these movies. They're not obscure to the point of like why would one want to watch this? But they're like these mainstream movies that kind of get forgotten a little bit.
Lost to the sands of time.
It was cool to watch them. I liked them all. Yeah. Even Where the Buffalo Roam, I liked them.
Yeah, that's a unique one. Now Fear and Loathing is like an update and probably in this case an improvement. Mm-hmm. But classic Bill Murray. If you want to see classic Bill Murray, watch Where the Buffalo Roam. That's where he is. That's his role. Mm-hmm. That's perfect for him.
Yeah, I think he does well in it, and after hearing someone do Hunter S. Thompson, it makes you want to speak and write like him.
Yeah, I did it for a while. I think I was in college. I talked like...
And everyone on the streets were rioting and barbaric. Yeah, I wish I had a way of speaking like that.
And if you listen, I mean, if you really want to talk like him, but...
Yeah. I just wish I had the eloquency to just speak.
Oh, the stuff that he was saying, yeah.
Like stream of consciousness, but with just imaginative
very, very figurative language.
So let's rank the films. Do you have them all written down?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah.
I would say my favorite, I'm going to go, this is really tough. It's between Mississippi Burning and Andromeda Strain. I'll go Andromeda, then Mississippi Burning, then Dogs of War, Matchstick Men, and then Where the Buffalo Roam. Andromeda Strain is so... Everything is just amazing, honestly. Yeah. Up until
well-crafted.
The latter scene, and that's not even bad. It's
I'm surprised you don't like... I mean...
It's a very good... It's a good scene. It just... I felt like... It didn't match the tone of the rest of the movie, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. I would go Mississippi Burning, just topic-wise. I mean, Andromeda is like, that's 1 and 1A. Okay, so Mississippi Burning, Andromeda, Dogs of War, Matchstick Men, Buffalo Roam.
So we had the exact same rating.
Except,
ranking.
Yeah.
You just rated things slightly higher, which is generally not the case. Generally, I did
pick these movies now.
Well, that is true. Very true. In terms of next episode, do we want to split? Do you want me to pick movies you'll actually watch, or do you...
That's a tough one.
Do the fans want you to get upset? I don't know.
We will have to think about it. We're going to circle back.
Well,
that's what you say.
We'll put a pin in it.
You'll put a pin in that, yeah.
But thank you all for joining us. This was a fun episode.
Way more serious than normal. They got our medications right, finally, so, you know.
We'll be yelling at each other a lot more next week.
Yeah, because he's going to make me watch something really stupid, I'm sure of it.
You guys are
There's probably, like, there's a Serbian film. There's probably a cheaper version of that called,
a Yugoslavian film.
Yugoslavian film. There's no more Yugoslavia, is there? No, there's not.
I've never been to that.
Yeah, I know you haven't been there. I don't think it's a country anymore.
I wouldn't know.
It's not.
Like I said, I've never been.
Okay.
And how do you know what a country is unless you've been there? Step foot on the soil.
You know what the moon is?
Hey, Christopher Columbus thought this was India. It's turning into it, but not yet. All right, we'll catch you on the next episode. Bye.